Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amaechi, has alleged that Rivers State is notorious for rigging elections, accusing political actors in the state of habitually writing results and declaring winners. Speaking at a rally in Port Harcourt under the African Democratic Congress, Amaechi warned his supporters not to participate in electoral fraud, stressing that a new political order must rise to end systemic manipulation in Rivers politics. Amaechi's remarks were part of a broader call for electoral integrity as he mobilized supporters to register with the EDC. He emphasized that any attempt to manipulate future elections in Rivers State will be strongly resisted. This time, don't work with anyone who rigs elections, he said, positioning himself as a reformist voice against a history of compromised outcomes in the state. The Non-Indigenous Alliance movement also backed the call for electoral reform, voicing support for ADC's mission to restore credible democracy in Rivers State. Chief Mike Oyakiri, the leader, described past election practices in the state as a betrayal of the people's will and condemned the recent political tensions, including emergency rule declarations, as part of a larger pattern of democratic erosion. Honorable Kingsley, yes. What do you make of this story?
It's very interesting. The story is very, very interesting. First, let me commend Chief Right Honorable Chibuike Rotimi Amaechi, Esquire, JP, two-time Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, two-time Governor of Rivers State, and two-time Minister, Super Minister of Transportation, for coming home to show Rivers people that indeed he has joined the ADC. But it was quite unfortunate that the mobilization we saw yesterday was abysmal for a man who had held these offices I just mentioned.
What do you mean by
in
abysmal?
His own state. Very abysmal. I don't know if you watched the number of persons that he mobilized for that program yesterday. As a two-time Speaker of Rivers State, the strongest, the richest, the most, how will I even put that, most announced and most popular speaker in the time when he was a Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. The most popular governor, the richest governor of his own time, two times governor of his own time. The lion of the tribe of the Niger Delta, when he was the minister, super minister of his own time of transportation, came home that he was coming to launch a new party in his own home state, especially in his local government where the international airport of Magua is residing. He came to that particular local, which belongs to him, his own local government. He could not mobilize up to 2,000 persons for such kind of program. It was indeed a shame. I'm sorry, Right Honorable Rotimi Amaechi, to tell you this. It was indeed a shame that you couldn't mobilize a reasonable number of persons to attend that kind of program that you would have used to launch your ADC, to the extent that it would have been like a show for Liverpool to indeed know that you have come to steal the vote, like you have claimed that you are coming to steal vote in 2027 election. That was a shame. Having said that, let me again say this. With due respect to former Governor Rotimi Amaechi, each time you talk, I don't know the way you think, the way you present your matters, you make things worse. That even some persons who would even want to begin to think of following you begin to feel like, if we follow this man who is talking like this, we might be in danger. Last time he said that Nigerians must be ready to mobilize, to fight. And people asked him, will you bring your children to be in front of that fight? Yesterday again, he told us how he's been writing his results from when he was a speaker to when he was a governor. What he said yesterday actually means that all the elections he had claimed to have won were all written.
Why do you say that?
If you say that Rivers State is known for writing results, it means that when he won election,
he also ran elective positions in Rivers State.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
So you're saying his statement.
It therefore means that he has already indicted himself. In fact, I think that it's high time that the agency saddled with the responsibility of investigating corruption should begin to ask questions. How did Right Honorable Rotimi Amaechi, former governor of Rivers State, win his elections? For you to say Rivers State is known for writing election, who has held elective positions in this state more than Rotimi Amaechi? A man who won election, who wrote election twice to win as a assembly member, who wrote election twice to win as governor. So it means that he has been writing election. If you've been writing election and the ones you wrote and tried to submit didn't work, now in Accra everybody writes election. That is not true. We know that you had lost elections since 2015. You've been losing elections. Perhaps it is because those who have been helping you win in their units while you write in the areas where you think you write are no longer there. Because I know that those persons who have been with you win elections in their own units and local government areas. Unfortunately, they are no longer with you, and now you claim that elections have been written. We wouldn't know. But I want to assure you that in 2027, those persons you are asking to go and fight, carry guns, and hijack materials and write elections in their units will not follow you. Because nobody would want to die for your sake. Right from when you were a student leader, you have been in government. You are an essay during the reign of Odili as deputy governor. And so, when you left that period, you became assembly member. And so, from when you were even a youth, the government have been feeding you, providing the cars you've been using, even though you claim that some were dashed to you by contractors of government, even while you were in power. So I don't know the reason for which a contractor will be dashing a governor a Rolls Royce and other cars they have dashed to you. I want to know, please, if occasion demands again, you have opportunity, you need to tell us in details how those results have been written. But we want to assure you in 2027, none of those persons you are asking to go to hijack material and write a result will join you to write any result.
Now, the question I want to ask you is how do you see the future of ADC in Rivers State? And do you think that the launching of ADC in Rivers State will change the political dynamics moving forward?
I don't know the launching we're expecting again. When Rotimi Amaechi had come home, he called it homecoming to launch ADC as of yesterday. Like I said, it was very abysmal and very, very shameful. And that alone should tell you what ADC is going to look like in Rivers State. Like we know, ADC, as far as it is led by Rotimi Amaechi, will make no headway in Rivers State. They can't even win a unit in this state. It's not even the unit of Right Honorable Rotimi Amaechi where he would go to write a result. No matter the result he will write that day, nobody will receive it.
Talking about that, do you recall an incident some years ago where a particular voting center in Ubima,
yes,
the reg there was held hostage? Do you recall that incident?
I think that was during Awara's election. That should be in 2019. That was in 2019, right?
Do you recall that? Do you recall any incident around that time?
I like as a politician.
And reports of electoral malpractices from that.
Yes, we got those reports. You know, we got those reports. He tried his best, but of course the people of that unit 8 or thereabout, overpowered him because he's not always at home. He doesn't go to the village. He only comes to the village on the day of election. And so the people of that community knows that even as a governor, he doesn't come home. And so they have no business with a man who only comes home on the day of election. And so that is the reason why they have always won him in that. He almost in every election he complains. At the end of the election, he begins to complain that they have written an election, they have hijacked the material, they have done this. When he tries to hijack and the people resist him, he will be the one who is complaining. I don't know why a former governor, a former super minister, will always complain at the end of an election, even in his own unit. That's so shameful, or anyway. But I think that no matter what he says to Rivers people understands him, they know him, and they have always paid him back, and they will continue to pay him back even in 2027 general elections.
Okay, very well. I think this particular election that I am talking about happened, was it in, because the mail I have here says 2018. Says 2018. I'm saying this because then I was an election observer then in that particular unit. And I made my reports to State Democracy Network, which was also published on International Magazine. And I witnessed what happened there. So when I read this position of the Honorable Rotimi Amaechi, I found it quite interesting because I observed that election. And I witnessed ballot box snatching. I witnessed, the reports are there. The reports are there and they are published, and I wrote and I sent mails to that effect as well. So now the question will be, is this a case of kettle calling pot black, or is it a case of, are we going to witness a new beginning in Rivers State elections? This accusation is across board. It is across board, because even in the 2023 elections there were concerns around vote buying, ballot box snatching and all of that with regards again to the outcome of the presidential elections in Rivers State. So moving forward, having looked at all these things, do you think that we are going to see a miracle happen in coming elections, or is it going to get tougher? Are politicians going to get smarter in electoral malpractices?
Yeah, while I look at the smartness of politicians going forward or the toughness of politicians going forward, that election you're talking about, if you say it's 2018, because there was no general election in 2018, that could be a local government election.
I think so.
So if it was a local government election that brought Samuel Nwana-Sike as executive chairman of Ikwere local government area, I know that he tried, Rotimi Amaechi, first he didn't agree to that election because he went to court to stop the election and he did not stop. And so he did everything to see that that election didn't work in Ubima, especially in his ward and unit, which he could not because the people overpowered him. Having said that, politicians, being who they are, will continue to do what they know best in doing. Nigerian politics has not gotten to the extent for which would see elections that are very transparent, free and fair, credible as it should be. We are still not, we've not gotten to that point. But having said that, we also know that in most areas in this country, elections to a reasonable extent has always been adjudged to be free, transparent and credible. And so we also seen that in 2027, the same way it has always been adjudged free, transparent and credible in most areas will be the same way. That also does not preclude the fact that some politicians who would also want to distort the process wouldn't stop. They will do what they have always been doing, but we want to pray and ask INEC to actually stand up to this occasion to do what is right. I want to pray that INEC, by virtue of the previous elections, must have learnt their lessons and, of course, re-strategized to see how Nigerians would say that the conduct of elections in 2007 is better than as it has always been. But, however, Nigerians, would always want to do what they know best in doing. But irrespective of whatever Nigerians do, it has always been the culture of every politician that when you fail, you cry. When you win, you praise. And so, for those who will fail, like those who have always been failing and crying, they will still continue to cry. When we were in primary school, on the day they will call results, That's one thing we used to say. If the result will be called tomorrow, we say Chile, then Nochi. The moment results are called, some will be crying, some will be laughing. When you win, definitely you cry. We know those who have always cried. They've already started crying now. They will still cry at the end of the election.
Now, the question again I want to ask is, you said that Rotimi Amaechi is not a grassroots politician.
Yes.
And now I'm looking at the backdrop of, I'm trying to do a comparative analysis of your statements as against what the FCT minister said when he said that he will beat Rotimi Amaechi in Rivers State election anytime, any day. Do you recall that statement?
I recall and I know it.
Now, is that what you see playing out? Because like it or yes, Rotimi Amaechi also has his supporters in Rivers State. You can't take that away. He has his supporters who at some point coalesced into simplified movement after the suspended governor fell out with the FCT minister. Those supporters are still there and they are organic.
You see, let me tell you this. When we say monkey is smart, let that monkey go to Zamfara. Let it go to where they have the desert. Monkey cannot fly and jump from tree to tree in the desert. It's only when you have trees that are close to trees, monkey becomes an expert. Rotimi Amaechi was jumping like, I use the monkey as an example. He was an expert in politics, as at the time he has a lot of Rivers politicians who were supporting him, who were with him. And as at that time, I don't know how he said he was writing results. I know that in my own place, we were winning elections for him. That also means that in my four and Rumeme and Obiakpo, Yeson Wike and his boys were winning elections for him. I know that in Ogoni, Senator Magnus Abe and his people were winning elections for him. He may be writing elections in Ikwere and perhaps Ubima. We wouldn't know why he talks about writing elections. Unfortunately, all those persons who were with him then that he was winning those elections, that he claimed that he was writing, are no longer with him. And so in 2027, these persons in their own areas will win elections. And these elections are not going to be won for ADC because they have all left him long ago. They are not with him. So the few persons, just like one or where two or three gather, who are with him, cannot make the mass of the voters in their various units and AGs. And so it is a very simple thing. If in my unit will have registered number of voters 200, in that 200, Rotimi Amaechi might have 10. And so 10 over 200, you have over 190 that are against him. So even in fight, if you say, okay, they should drag material, there is no how 10 can fight 190. And that will be the case in almost everywhere in Rivers State. And so he has followers, he has supporters. No, nobody is disputing that fact. I also have supporters. But how many supporters do I have? How many supporters does he have? That is where the case comes. As of today, every person in this state knows that Wike has taken every Rivers politician. And he carries them along. People are happy following him, irrespective of party divide. I've said that before. As of today, he is the leader of almost all the parties, except the one that Rotimi Amaechi is now bringing, the ADC. And so if everybody is around him, and few persons are just with this person, the result already is known. And so I don't think we should be wasting our time in debating on this matter. 2027 is sacrosanct here in Rivers State and majority of the states in Nigeria for the incumbent president of this country. And that will also snowball into almost every election, both in the assembly, in the House of Reps, in the Senate, and all that. In fact, the local government election that will be coming up anytime soon will be like a test case. Yes. If he is that, how will I put it?
Popular. That
popular and has the majority of persons in the various AGs, let ADC come and contest local government election. And let's see, because I know he will, because he won't contest.
Why do you say he won't contest?
He will not want to contest because first and foremost, he will give an excuse that it was conducted by RESEC. Because he will fail. His people will fail. And that's the first crying he will cry.
The research chairman is not from Rivers State.
It doesn't matter where the person comes from. Even the person comes from Ubima, his village, he will still not contest. He will not contest. He has always run away in such elections. He has always run away. So what are you talking about? In the 2018 you are talking about, I wanted to run for a local government election under our own party. That was the time we were having crisis with him. That we have factionalized APC in this state. He went to court and stopped us because we decided that our own faction must run that election. Let's show our popularity. He went to court and stopped us from running the election. Because he knows that if we had run that election, we would have won. I would have told him that you see that your own faction is not popular in this state. So he didn't want that shame. So he stopped APC completely from court, from contesting that election. Now,
you're saying by your submission that the FCT minister, true to his word, will beat Amaechi in elections in Rivers State anytime, any day.
A million times over. He has always beaten him. He will keep beating him. I don't know about after 2027, but the structure he has in Rivers State for
Amaechi
now.
Has in Rivers State.
The FCT minister has in Rivers State for now will win almost every election in this state. Because who is who in Rivers politics are there with him across the 23 local government areas, including the non-indigenous who are here. Everybody is supporting Nyesom Wike because of the way he carries people along. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter the kind of problem you have with him. The moment you reconcile with Nyesom Wike, he forgets about what has happened. But Rotimi Amaechi is not like that. As soon as I see people running around Nyesom Wike, no human being is perfect. Every human has one or two imperfections around them. So there must be this ground that people will always misunderstand themselves. And so when such misunderstandings comes, there must be room, opportunity for settlement, for reconciliation. Rotimi Amaechi, with due respect, doesn't give room for that. If he was such kind of person, PDP wouldn't have taken over Rivers State in 2015. And even in 2019. There was nothing that was not done to reconcile him and Senator Magnus Abe. Different class of persons in this country tried to reconcile them. Each time they call for that meeting, Senator Magnus will be there. He will not attend. People did everything from the state to the region to the country. People tried their best. He refused reconciliation till today. And so almost everybody that were around him then had left him. As of yesterday at the airport, who did you see? Senator Andrew Chendo. That was the only position I saw around him. Our elder octogenarian Senator Andrew Chendo. The only person that was around Rotimi Amaechi. And of course, you know that almost all the children of this Senator Andrew Chendo are with Nyesom Wike. His first son just gained the federal appointment, courtesy of Nyesom Wike, just few months ago. And so every member of his family, all members of his family are in the other side. He is standing alone with Rotimi Amaechi. And of course his age, you could see that there's nothing he can do. Like I mentioned here, he's elder Senator octogenarian Andrew Chendo.